Hello there, Michael C. Bryan of Wake Up with Michael. Today is the Sunday newsletter. Today is November 2nd, 2025. Had to think about that. So I was thinking about to talk about, that I can offer you. So today's newsletter and what I want to talk about this week is the idea, two things that cause most of us just the worst fucking headache in the planet. And that's choosing to be either in the state of responsive or reactive. Responsive or reactive. So this became very clear to me last night. I saw a movie called A House of Dynamite. I keep wanting to say a house full. A House of Dynamite. It's directed by Catherine Bigelow. Now, I'm a huge movie nut. I've loved movies forever. Movies saved me when I was a kid. Like, literally, watching movies gave me answers. I was raised by wolves, so movies always gave me the solution to things. So in today's newsletter, I want to talk about why we get into a state of reactive and not responsive. Now, I'm watching this fucking movie last night, right? And it's very frustrating because, it's all over Netflix. Because the frustrating thing about this movie is that there is no ending. It's very ambiguous. You're supposed to make up your own decision. That's a choice. Catherine Bigelow is an amazing director. That's her choice. Drives me bonkers, frankly. Ambiguous endings, I feel, are just, this is my personal opinion, are kind of lazy. Like, make up your mind. What's going to happen here? And I realize that that's always a choice by the filmmaker. I just like, what's going on? What's happening? So in the movie, the military is responding to what feels like a nuclear attack. We don't know whether or not, and by the end of the movie, you still don't know. That kind of drives me crazy. But what I was laughing at was I was watching it because everybody in the room, between these different rooms of people, between the president and the head of security and all these people, they're all like losing their shit with what's happening. Now, it's understandable, right? It's a horrible crisis. And I laughed sitting here on my couch watching this fucking thing last night, thinking to myself, well, stop overreacting. Just do what has to be done. Whenever I'm in a crisis, whenever there's a moment where people are kind of losing their mind, in the past, and this is just, I'm not perfect about this, but I gotta say, spiritual work and awareness work really does help with this. I would react like crazy. I'd be emotional, I'd yell, I'd scream. More importantly, I'd flip out. But now, when I hear about these things, I respond, I don't react. And I kept thinking as I was watching the characters, this is not the time to break down. This is not the time to have an emotional reaction. This is not the time. And the lead character, she was amazing. She has a kid and a husband, so of course she's upset at the threat of potentially nuclear war, which they never answer, which again drives me crazy. But what she did was she had a moment. She let herself feel the terror, the pain, the anxiety about what could happen to her or her family. And then she just took that emotion, she put it aside for a minute, and she focused on the matter at hand. I thought that was brilliant. So today we're going to talk about what it's like in this emotional training to be in control of your emotions and to understand once and for all that you are not your fucking emotions. This is coming from me, a guy who had panic disorder, was somebody who experienced depression for years, tried to kill himself, who was raised by a mother that was hysterical, who killed herself. I mean, I've talked about this forever, just so you know. When I talk to you about how to get control of your emotions, I'm not saying this lightly. It's not easy, but if you really want to live a good life and you want to learn how to feel emotional balance, then you really want to learn how to live in a state of responsive versus reactive. So let's talk about why we are reactive. Now, if something is happening externally, your mind is going to have thoughts about that external thing. Now, it's going to have thoughts that are going to happen so quick and so fast based upon your past, your history, your way of living, that you're not going to be able to catch those thoughts fast enough, right? But your body will feel the flip out, the freak out, right? Now, the movie's an extreme situation. Nuclear war is happening. However, people that in the military, you don't have the luxury of flipping out, freaking out. And in the movie, it was infuriating to me watching people sort of losing their mind. I'm like, hi, could you lose your mind later? Could you maybe feel a little freaked out later? Right now, I need you to save the world. So that drove me crazy. And I thought to myself, oh, Mr. Judgy Judgy. And then I thought, that's what I should talk about today. So when something external happens that is dramatic, that is big, that is major, there is a thought process in your mind about that thing externally, okay? And so you feel an emotion based upon that thought process that your mind is thinking about something externally. But the external, and this is something that your ego, which is a product of the mind, hates me saying right now, that external is neither good nor bad. I'm talking extreme situations, like in the movie Nuclear War. You would say to me, what the fuck, are you high? Of course it's extreme. It's nuclear war. And I'm like, okay. But in order for you to take action from a place of responsive, not emotional overreactiveness, right? That's why we say overreactive, is you've got to learn and train yourself when you're not in nuclear war to observe the fact that you're always taking cues from the mind's thoughts about things, and that the emotional disarray, the frustration, the annoyance, the freak out you're feeling is based upon a worst case scenario that your mind is thinking. And as much as I've read about the mind, and as much as I know about what we call mindful, which is hysterical, the last thing you want to be is mindful. It's a stupid term. We want to be mindless, frankly. Out of your mind is a better way to go. And having spent years figuring my emotional shit out, and now talking to people for years who come from trauma and difficult pasts about their emotional shit, you don't want to, your mind, what I know now is your mind is trained to protect you. It's meant to cover your ass. So your mind is going to observe these external things, and it's going to think about the worst case scenario. So you're going to flip out. You're in a car and someone cuts you off and you lose your fucking shit in a honk. I see it constantly all over LA, and you're going to feel like it's justified. It's not. Your mind's thoughts is motherfucker. So your mind is thinking we have to protect ourselves. There could be harm here. So you feel a rush of rage, right? Road rage. And then you lose your shit. So when you lose your shit, you're in your mind's thoughts, and then your responsive system, your body, cannot do what needs to be done in that moment, like hang a left, hang a right, slow down. And so that's why crashes happen, is because people are in their minds' thoughts about things. So if you really want to understand how to find emotional balance, and it's your fucking job to find your emotional balance in life, nobody else is going to help you with this, is you have to learn to be aware that you are addicted, and I've said this 3 million times, to the mind's thoughts about the world, the external world. Let's just agree on something, and you can hear this from every spiritual teacher on the planet. I'm just echoing what they've said because I've learned it's true in my life. None of those externals, nobody outside you in life is going to do what you want them to do. People are wildly unpredictable. They're caught up in their own minds. They're overwhelmed by the phone, as we know. They are addicted to the phone. They're looking for the little dopamine hits all day on the phone. They are caught up and they're emotionally reactive all over the place. So the external world is not something that can be trusted upon for equilibrium and balance. It's just the external world is what the external world is. It just is what it is. It's neither good nor bad. It is. Now, your mind does not think that way, and your ego is like, oh no, that person's an asshole, that person's a schmuck, I should be indignant, I should rally, I should make sure they know they're wrong. So that's when your emotional state gets bonkers. Now, if you really want to find emotional balance, the key here, the thing that nobody likes, I know, is you have to be aware wildly, and you have to observe the fact that you are observing your mind going off, and you're actually listening to this fucking crazy lunatic of a mind. You actually think the mind's like logical, and your mind knows how to think to put you in a state of chaos. It's your mind, so it knows all your shit. And your mind, if you're like me who came from trauma, is filled with so much bullshit from your past that you really believe what the mind is saying, and your mind knows exactly what to say to get you fucking upset. Because remember, if you really want to understand what ego and mind is, the ego is the way we function in the world, and it's a construct of the mind, but we are not ego. That's why everyone says, kill your fucking ego. So your ego is not you. Your ego is about the injustices. Your ego is always annoyed. Your ego is like nothing is ever good enough. Your ego is always worried. My thing growing up was always anxiety, anxiety, anxiety. My mother used to say continuously to me, it's not if the shoe is going to drop, but when. I mean, can you hear that? So that's what my mind thinks when bad situations are happening in the world. She, as they say, programmed. It's too fucking new agey for me, that kind of talk. But, she got my mind thinking that way. So I was raised during my very formative years in a mind that hadn't been formed to be around a woman who thought it's not if the other shoe's going to drop, but when. So she was always like waiting for a fucking catastrophe, waiting for shit. So my mind has a natural proclivity, my mind, that when something happens in the world, a physical thing, a financial thing, whatever, that my mind flips out, so my body flips out, so I emotionally overreact to a situation. That was earlier in my life. Now, case in point, so literally almost a year ago, the Palisades caught on fire, the big fires here in Los Angeles. And I remember when the fires were happening that I observed my mind going off about the fire, but I didn't listen to my fire. My neighbors were losing their fucking shit. They were running up and down the street. I get it, right? But this training taught me to say, okay, everyone's flipping the fuck out, and they're all understandably, I'm not a schmuck. I understand. Yes, it's frightening. But I thought to myself, if I listened to my mind's thoughts about the fire, and I listened to everybody that was texting and calling and emailing and flipping the fuck out, I wouldn't have had a response. And my response was, okay, what do I have to do? Right. I have to pack a bag. Right. I have to make sure everything in the house is buttoned up. Right. I have to then get out of the house. Right. I should probably get an Uber to go to my friend's house. Right. Whose house should I stay at? Right. So when I didn't listen to my reactive mind and I instead was present in the present moment, I asked myself in the present moment, what is it I have to do with this situation, which just is a challenge? This is a challenging moment. What do I do? And I heard do this, 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 this. And then I got a car and I went to a friend's house and everything was great. However, most of us do not want to take the time when it's chill to observe ourselves, observing our mind and say, okay, am I taking cues from the mind's thoughts about the external world and about myself? Or am I instead present and am I observing my mind? And am I not letting myself latch on to the emotional overreactiveness of the mind? Now, this training, this work, is designed to help you find emotional equilibrium no matter what's happening externally. Because the only thing you can trust is your internal state of calm. Nothing externally is going to bring you any peace. More money helps. Nicer houses help. Sunshine in this fucking city sure as hell helps. But the clouds can go dark, the money can go, the houses can change. So the externals in spiritual work and in psychology that we've all heard before, the externals do not bring us any peace. The externals, including people, places, things, are not to be counted upon. Maybe animals. I think dogs, cats too. I've learned kind of like cats. Those externals you can kind of count on, but they die too, right? But the reason animals, we like them is they're not sitting here listening to their mind's thoughts and flipping out about shit and going on CNN and then posting and fucking just losing their mind. They should lose their mind. Losing their mind is a great thing. So the point is, in this work, if you really want to find emotional balance and emotional equilibrium, you're only going to do it when you're in a lot of pain. And if you're in pain watching this, then the line of inquiry is, okay, how often am I listening to my mind's thoughts about externals? Okay. And the truth is you're listening to them all the time. Are those externals what my mind says they are? And they're not. The mind is always looking at the worst case scenarios, trying to protect you. So the trick is don't listen to the mind's thoughts about externals and the emotional reactiveness you will feel when you listen to your mind's thoughts about things, but instead observe yourself observing your mind. You are the thing observing the mind. So observe the mind going off on its own about things and realize any emotional reactiveness that you have is based upon the mind. It's not about what the externals are, because the externals are what the externals are. They just are. And if you accept them without listening to your mind's thoughts and your presence, so you're like the thinker without thoughts, it's Buddhism, it's wacko, but it works. If you're aware of the challenge in the situation and it just is what it is, you will know what to do because you'll respond from decisiveness. You'll respond from clear, concise, emotionally balanced action. You won't lose your shit. You won't scream, yell, freak out, holler. Now, the reason your mind flips out about things is, and a lot of this work, we talk about this more and more, is the wound that you have when you were younger that you still have not addressed, and it's still open and festering. This work is designed to heal the wound so it closes and heals, and you'll always have scar tissue there to remind you this is your work, not to let that wound disturb your mind. So, I hope this brought you some sort of peace. I hope this makes sense to you. And again, my role here, my effort here, is to help you truly and deeply find a way to find emotional peace no matter what's happening in your life. And if we keep doing this together and keep working together, I promise you, you will find it. So for the coming week, observe yourself, observing your mind. And when your mind has negative, inflammatory thoughts about things, just remember it's all a lie.